Good morning everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for joining me for another video. And it's pretty dark, that's because it's very early. We've got a sunrise little walk this morning for you. So making our way, me and Trev, down to our local bay here at Broadstairs called Stone Bay. Tide is out and it looks like we've got a nice clearish morning for the sun to come up. There's a bit of low cloud on the horizon, but that might make for an even more dramatic kind of shot with the time lapse. So what we're going to do, we're going to take advantage of this beautiful morning, and we might take a little stroll after watching the sunrise. Yeah, we might go north, take advantage of the tide being out, because the bays here in Broadstairs, some of them are tidal, so if the tide's in you get cut off. So at the moment the tide's way out, so we can take advantage of going for a stroll and then kind of show you some points of interest along the way. Maybe walk up to the Turner Museum and have a look inside there. Stone Bay being our local bay, I've just kind of walked down those steps there, which are named after the 39 Steps. It's that famous book. And yeah, so anyway, we've got to the entrance of Stone Bay now. Watch this beautiful sunrise with the beautiful red. So yeah, it's going to be a good one this morning. So I look forward to showing you. Okay, we're off. So Stone Bay is behind us, as you can see. Sun's come up, as you saw on that beautiful time lapse there. And yeah, what a beautiful morning. So tide is out. Hopefully you can see there's probably a bit of sun there. Yeah, and we're off and running. So we're going to walk to Margate. I've timed it perfect actually in terms of the sunset. The tide is out, so I might as well take advantage of walking whilst the tide is out and it's before the 10 o'clock kind of curfew for the dogs. So I'll get over to Margate as quick as possible and I'll throw the drone up as much as I can. And any points of interest, as per usual, I'll show you them, put some info on the screen or talk about it a little bit. So this part of Thanet, the beaches are sandy and that's why they're very, very popular for holiday goers, which they have been this year. In the summer holidays, it's been absolutely rammed this year. So, and this is where the tide is right in, comes in all the way to the cliff's edge. So we've just got to get past this bit and the next stop is Joss Bay, I should say. Well, there is a lot more stones washed up on the beach here. Anyway, let's just get past this bit here and then I can get on some sand, which is just around the corner here. We're just around the corner now and this is Joss Bay. So we've got the cliffs as you can see, but if you actually look closely, you can see all the different layers. So let me get a good example of this. And there's loads of different layers. So they've obviously some volcanic activity or how they've come out the ground under the sea. I'm not a geologist, so I wouldn't have a clue really, but so this is a good example here, this cliff here, and they're all along the cliffs here at Thanet. So you can see all the different layers. So you can see there's different little, so you've got one predominantly flint line, and then another one here, and then I think one just below as well here. I think this was underwater at one point. I think they're all made up of sediment, sea creatures. Okay, so here we are, we're in Joss Bay. How beautiful is this? Very thankful that I've got Joss Bay to myself. For me to get out early, it's good for everything, good for the soul, good for the body, and good for the mind. Just round the corner to Joss Bay is Kingsgate Bay. So I don't know what to talk about on this walk. It'll just come to me. You'll be surprised to know that I don't have a script. So yeah, if something of interest springs to mind, I'll let you know. Okay, next stop, Kingsgate Bay. So as we just come into Kingsgate Bay now, and the arch through the cliff is there, and that's where normally the heavy seaweed is, but it's bad this side of the bay. So there must be something to this bay that lends itself to growing seaweed. I'll just try and get out to the water's edge where it's a bit clearer. Kingsgate Bay is quite popular for filming, so on the bay itself, on the beach. So you'd come down here, you'd either drive at the top there, and you often drive past and see film crew down here, and music videos being shot down here. And actually, funny enough, we've got like a film shoot going on there as well. So Trev's not bothered, he's chasing the seagulls in the sea. Which is the film crew, well, just the photo shop going on there. Oh, jellyfish. Yeah, so there must be something to this bay that lends itself to growing seaweed, and I've seen a few jellyfish around. I don't know if it's the angle of the bay that makes it a little bit warmer here. I don't know if it's the shallowness of the water as well. So I think there's loads of things, isn't there, that probably contribute towards that, but it's a beautiful place, and there's loads of caves. Let's go and have a look at the caves. So you've got one cave there, it doesn't go anywhere. Probably about 20 metres deep. And from what I read, that these are ex-smuggler caves in the cliff there where they used to hide all their loot, and probably hide themselves as well. There's another one there. Oh, there's a hidden one in here. So yeah, it's big for smuggling around here. Back in the day, I think in the 19th century. So I'm not going to go in there because it says danger, rockfall. Yeah, so it's big for smuggling back in the day. And there's caves around here, I think especially from Ramsgate, that go for hundreds of metres. So you can see there's loads of caves. So the one we just saw there, there's another one here. Don't go very far, but they might have back in the day. Probably just kind of little hideaways. So that's Kingsgate Bay, with the Kingsgate Castle at the top there. Beautiful. So behind the camera, we've got the walk-through through the cliff. So yeah, so we'll walk through that. And then the next stop after that, I think it's Botany Bay after that. Oh, over there. And this chalk is extremely slippery. Kingsgate Bay is behind us, as you saw, and we're just coming up to the lovely Botany Bay now. Very dramatic cliffs here you can walk through, which I will show you. Oh, they're not Cornwall standards, I'll give you that, but quite iconic actually, the Botany Bay cliffs. And this is Botany Bay. Behind us was Botany Bay. That marks the last bay out of the 7. I think there's another one. I think it's Palm Bay, is it? I don't know why they don't include that. They might do. So the last walk I did, which was similar, this is probably one of the first walks on the channel. So all this is new. It was new to the channel anyway. Anyway, if we see anything interesting, I'll get the camera booted up quickly. Lovely to feel the sun again. I didn't realise how much the sea went back. So as you can see with the drone shots, we haven't got that far to go. Just round the corner you can see Margate there. And I thought I'd take this opportunity because there's not a lot here. We've got some kind of southern water works here in the corner here, so you don't really want to see that, I'm sure, especially what's coming out of it sometimes. Anyway, so I thought I'd take advantage of this area of the walk just to tell you what's on my mind. It's been a tough few days, if I'm honest, but I'm chipping away. Trying to do some good stuff. Throughout these videos I've been talking about the anxiety and the performance anxiety I always felt from a young one to now, I suppose. So as a 53-year-old, and this is where it's difficult sometimes, you're at a time of your life where you should, and that's probably the horrendous word to use, you should have everything covered a little bit, don't you think? And I don't feel like I have, but that doesn't make it wrong, does it? Acceptance of where I am right now. I need to focus on what's right and get myself healed. Anyway, so we're just coming into Margate now, because it's getting a bit more concretey. So in closing of this little ramble is I encourage you to talk. If there's anything that is on your mind, if you're struggling, if you're in a dark place, just talk to someone that you trust. It doesn't have to be a trained professional, just a friend. Anyone that you think that will listen. Because if you are that person that's on the other end of someone telling you this, you don't have to come up with any answers. Just have a sympathetic ear and listen. Because that's all it takes. Because the person on the other end, if you're talking, probably don't want to hear any pull yourself together and all that. They don't really want to hear any answers because there probably aren't any answers. The first chain to break is the communication itself. So the moral of this story is communicate. Because I think the biggest thing for anyone is you just think you're on your own and you're making decisions and you're feeling inadequate. And yeah, I've had to pause life. I think if I was able to talk to someone about that, be open about that, what was going on, I think that would have helped so much. Okay, so let's go inside. So what I'm going to have to do, because there's guide dogs only inside, I'm going to have to drop Trev off. So my wife's coming to get Trev and take him home, and I'm going to show you inside. So as you saw in some of the quotes during the film, this video is all about perspective. And I think it's a really great word because it's so easy to lose perspective. When I look back and think, well, maybe I've lost a little bit of perspective, maybe I've lost a little bit of balance there in my head. And hopefully over a period of time, and you just build up that kind of foundation of good perspective, and I think that'll give me a good foundation of a more positive, balanced life. I think there's always a reminder for myself to always remember that, to keep that perspective correct, because who cares if we're not earning the money we thought we were, or we didn't do this in our career, or we had to leave a job for certain reasons. It can bring its sadness, of course, but I think it shouldn't become overwhelming, which it has done for me. What our problems are would be someone else's luxury. What we have, and I'm not saying it's all gratitude and grateful and we walk around, we hug trees all day. So thank you very much for joining me on this video, everyone, and if you've made it this far, thank you very much for sticking around, and I hope you've enjoyed this little stroll I've done from home at Stone Bay there in Broadstairs to the Turner Museum here in Margate, and until the next time, I wish you well, both in your mind and your body, and I'll see you next time. For myself and Trev, who's at home, I'll see you then. Thanks everyone, cheerio.